Hi. Story time. So I had this dream, and in that dream, it showed me the word guilt. And I'm just kind of one of those people where I'm just like, what does that mean? Like, why was that showing me that? And in my process, I'm doing some introspection, like, am I guilty? Like, am I feeling this? Like, do I feel like I have some form of guilt that I'm not processing? And in that question, it led to some clarity in the aspect of just more of the understanding of, over time, history has used this amazing tool called desensitizing. And in that great sense of practice, it really has manipulated a lot of people and to be controlled. And, they paint this version of this American dream. Let me show you what success is. Let me show you a relationship and what it should be like, and this and that, and this beautiful fantasy and picture. And when you are being programmed and controlled, you're so desensitized that you don't just sit there and be like, wait a minute, what's going on? And honestly, like, so many of us are guilty of being conditioned in some aspect of some degree. Because in all of that desensitizing and all that distraction of this, let me paint this picture for you, it's taking away the main focus of learning who we are. We have been so conditioned to believe that we need a relationship to feel and to be. We need children. We need to be married. We need this label. We need this success that looks like this, painted by number. And we need all of these aspects to be a good citizen or to be a good person or whatever. And in all of that, this and that all this stuff just being thrown at you and just constantly watching over and over again, and especially in movies. I mean, Netflix is like a soft freaking porn right now. Like, they're just cramming down lust, like, here. And it's just like, whoa, like, what's going on? And it's such a distraction of taking that time to know who we are. And, I appreciate a good movie. I appreciate a lot of those things because somewhere in there, because what deceit is, there's a little bit of truth in it. If you really dig deep in those movies, that you will see that some good morality and, some good lessons in there. And I enjoy watching movies because I like to watch it in the sense of, like, what are they trying to program us in? Like, what are they, like, feeding us right now? Because I was raised to ask questions. I was raised to just not be the one that jumps off the bridge, like, to think for myself. And, I'm really hard to be controlled. And the more I learn who I am and the more I take ownership and step into that power, like, it is really hard to control me and to program me. And, I'm a very open book. I'm very, very honest in my process and in my journeys. And I am happy to admit that if I did something that caused harm, I'm happy to take, I'm happy to say, yeah, I did that. I 100% take ownership of that. And, I've already pretty much reaped the consequences of those actions. And, I'm really seeing a bunch of aspects of self-worth, and I've seen the aspect of like those labels and that that doubt that says like, you're not good enough, or you're not this, or we're so hard on ourselves and our self-worth. It's so easy to get it tied into a label. And then I've seen the other aspect where it's there's not much of a label. Like, you believe in yourself, and that the world may not believe in you, or might not understand who you are and understand how you process and your signature. And I'm seeing all these different aspects of this self-worth. And when I had really bad self-esteem growing up, and so it's been really fun to watch my journey as I continue to learn and strive to be who I am. And it's the world right now is really showing people to pursue, like, constant in pursuit. You must be this, you must do this, you must have these things. And whatever happened to seeking the truth of who we are, seeking the truth in anything? What happened to just asking questions and critical thinking? And honestly, the stream of guilt, right? It's just like, this is where I came to the understanding of what that dream was trying to show me, and that, we are not free if we are controlled by any aspect of a material world or a label or anything. That if anything can influence yourself and your self-worth, then who has that power, that influence over you, or you? And so in a way, yes, we are all guilty to some degree, because we only know what we know until we know, right? And it's so easy to be programmed and desensitized that when we are being like brainwashed to some degree, you won't even recognize it. You don't even notice, And so, hats off to all those people that are continuously striving to know who they are, because really, I've learned that is really that aspect of freedom, is just taking the time to know who you are, how you respond, how your mind works, all these things. And when I mentor people all the time, I'm like, hey, you must take the time to know yourself, know how you respond, know what the feelings on your body is telling you when you walk into a room. What happens to your body? How is it being influenced? What's influencing it? What type of energy is it? Is it a positive? Is it a negative? How do you feel? What are the patterns that you're constantly seeing? What is it trying to show you? I mean, you must have this really strong foundation within yourself first, before you add all the layers. And just as we are on a journey to unpeel the layers, it's one thing after the other. In that, you're going to know the core being of your heart. And it's not that we ever lost who we were, or we don't know who we were, or whatever. It's literally just recognizing the truth in all of that programming and all that discernment of what are we conditioned to be, who we are versus not. And even the label and conditioning of being a good person. Like, what does a good person and a bad, what a bad person is? Like, we label the good and the bad. And whatever just happened to being a balanced person, whatever happened to humanity, whatever happened to just the common core of virtues and the common, aspect of humanity. Like, you're saying that I'm a good person if I do this, but in reality, what you're saying is really self-serving. Like, I'm a good person if I go and videotape me feeding homeless people. Like, look at me. I'm doing this act. I'm a great person, right? Like, we're literally conditioning people to look like their hearts are open and that they're caring of other people. But honestly, our actions speak louder than words. And people will show you who they are through those actions. And that's something I've had to learn. And that's something I've had to learn about myself. What are my actions showing? Like, what are my actions doing? Like, and I had to come to truth with a lot of my actions. Like, wow, you're self-deceiving yourself right now. Like, you say you're doing this, but your results are on a whole nother level because I was self-deceiving, because my actions showed me the truth. And I think it's just really important that, to recognize, like, are we being desensitized? And are we being guilty of control to some degree that is not us? And like I said before, it's so easy to be controlled if you don't know who you are. It's so easy to be taken advantage of and to manipulate other people if you don't know where you stand. How do you know that you're being taken advantage of if you don't even know anything about your self-worth and who you are? So I think it's important that every day we take the time to remember ourselves. It's people die, and we take the time to celebrate their life and who they were. And I think in some way we should do that to ourselves. And there's many versions of us that do die. So a new version of us can be reborn. And I think it's important to check in with who we are and to be as honest as we can, because when you own that sense of power and that self-worth, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. You can do anything and everything. And it would be awesome to see so many more people own their power and their worth and put on a smile on their face and not let those things in the reactive mind control and take over this. And so I had a dream about guilt, and that's what I learned from it. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Much love.